Hey everybody, Jason here with realtorvision.com, and today I'm going to talk about the benefits of joining your local realtor association, or otherwise known as MLS board. And I'm going to do that while I climb the dunes. Yes, I'm here in beautiful Glen Arbor, Michigan at the Dune Climb, located in the heart of the Sleeping Bear National Lake Shore. So let's get started. What you're seeing here is what I'm about to climb, and I definitely don't have the right shoes for this. It's incredibly high, and I'm gonna do this while I talk to you about the importance of joining the MLS. If you're a real estate photographer, listen up. You're gonna wanna hear this, and your competitors probably don't want you to know this. Okay, so this is probably a bad idea. I'm definitely not in shape for this. I need to work out more. So anyway, here we are. I'm about halfway up and I've got a long ways to go. The video today, again, why you should join your local board of realtors. There's 1,400 of them in the United States, and they're scattered all throughout Canada. If you're a real estate photographer, this video is for you, because MLS is your secret weapon for getting new business on a continual basis. What is an MLS? Well, for real estate brokers and agents, it's a place where technology can come together and data can be shared. It's an association, often overlooked by photographers. The association has dues. As a real estate photographer, you pay those dues, you're in. You're in there as an affiliate member with other real estate related services, home inspectors, mortgage companies, home protection companies, moving companies are just a few. All right, I made it to the top. I just realized I forgot to bring water, so that's not good. So let's get right to the heart of this video. Now that you know that you need to become an affiliate member of your local MLS, you have to identify which MLS you should be working with. In order to do that, I want you to call your best friend, the realtor. Simple, pick up the phone, call a realtor or two, and find out which MLS board they belong to. Once you have that information, write it down, Google it, and find the contact information for the administrative office at your local MLS board. Okay, so you're about to call the board, you've got their contact information, and you're ready to dial the phone. Couple things to keep in mind. Remember, like any other association, the MLS wants to make a profit off of people being members. And as an affiliate member, they're gonna want your business because you're supporting the local board of realtors. So the first thing you wanna do when you get somebody on the phone, it's simple. Let them know that you're interested in becoming an affiliate member. And you start the conversation off by saying, "Hi, how's it going? I'm a professional real estate photographer, aerial drone pilot, and virtual tour provider. I've got a high degree of interest in becoming an affiliate member, and I was wondering if I could talk to someone about that." Once they know that you want to become an affiliate member, they're going to open right up to you. Now, there's several important questions for you to ask once you're talking to the right person and once you have their attention. Okay, so you're on the phone. Now it's time for that first battery of questions. Obviously, starting with the most important, how much does it cost for me to become an affiliate member as a professional real estate photographer, aerial drone pilot, or virtual tour provider? Once you have the answer to that, you're going to want to follow up with a few basic questions. With the membership dues, do you promote my business in a monthly newsletter? How many times would you do that? Do you feature me on your website? And if so, are there additional costs? Are there any annual shows or events that I can attend as an affiliate member? are there any additional costs for those events? Do you have a membership roster that I'll get? Does it contain both phone numbers and emails, or do I just get phone numbers? Now on that, it's okay. Most of them are only gonna give you phone numbers. And you can expect the membership dues to be somewhere between $250 and maybe $500 on the high side. The average, I believe, is right around $3. So, once you know the answer to your follow-up question, it's time to dive in and extract some more data. Okay, let's circle back to those events. I'm talking about the chili cook-off, toys for tots, bras for a cause, summer golf outing, holiday mixer party, any of those events that they probably mentioned earlier that you can either sponsor or attend. What I want you to ask as a follow-up question regarding those events, do you currently have someone that professionally photographs those events? Or would you ever find that there would be a need for professional aerial drone photography for one of those events? What you're gonna find is almost all of these boards love to trade. And if they are not already working with somebody, this is a great in for you to not only be able to get to that event for free, get publicity out of it, but also get your name out there and start working with the board. The more you can work with the board, help promote the board, the more business you're gonna get from the board. Remember, they're gonna refer you. The other thing that you want to ask the board is if they ever have a need for someone to come in and possibly teach a class or two. I know, sounds like giving away the secret sauce, doesn't it? But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about giving away just enough information so that maybe they can take slightly better cell phone pictures or something. You pick, maybe a drone safety class, or how to frame your photos, how to use a tripod properly, how to pick a topic that you're good at. Maybe you want to talk about social media videos, or how to make a good YouTube video, maybe even it's a good walkthrough video. These people are gonna try it. The majority are gonna try it. They're gonna realize it's better left up to you, the professional, to just do it for them, especially when they get busy. Remember, you become their personal assistant on a per listing basis. You wanna go and get as many of the customers as possible in the beginning, and you're gonna have some that you do train that might do some of their own stuff. But at the end of the day, they're gonna go to you for all the professional work, and that's what you want. Okay, so this next one's a big one, and a lot of people forget about it. It's categories. The bigger the board, the more categories they're gonna have. They're gonna have real estate photographers, they're gonna have virtual stagers, they're gonna have drone pilots, they're gonna have video production, they're gonna have 3D producers, all kinds of stuff. So it's important that you establish right from the beginning how many of those categories can you be listed in for your membership dues. In a lot of cases, as long as you can prove that you do it, they'll list you in more than one, and that gives you more exposure. So I want you to keep that in mind. How many categories can I get listed in for my dues? And do you have separate categories for real estate photographers, virtual tour providers, virtual stagers, aerial drone services, video walkthrough services, photo editing services? It's a thing. It's a thing. So I want you to take a look at that, find out how many categories are there, and find out how many categories you can legitimately belong in, and ask the question. This is really wearing me out. Check it out. It's crazy. You want to be in as many categories as possible, but you don't want to have to pay for a bunch of categories. So if they do want to charge for various categories, pick the ones that are going to get the most bang for your buck. For example, photography, drone, 3D tours, virtual tours, all of those I would place towards the top, followed by virtual staging, and floor plan services might be a whole other one. Our local MLS board, which is the Aspire North, I believe has us in 3 or 4 categories. Again, more categories, more exposure. And if you don't ask, you're not gonna receive. So don't forget to do that. All right, next question. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. Coming from somebody that sits and stands and sits and stands at a desk all day, this is like being in heaven. I could get used to this. More videos, please. All right, so the next thing you wanna ask, and throughout this process, remember, they're selling you the benefits of becoming an affiliate member of the MLS. So don't ever feel like you're taking up too much of their time. Always ask as well if they have an information packet that they can follow up with. The next question I'm going to have you ask is real simple. Do you mind letting me know how many other photographers are also members or virtual tour providers? Is there a way I can see how many other people are already in these categories that I'm being asked to get placed in? This gives you a good idea of how much competition you have that's already a part of the MLS and supporting the MLS, because remember, they were there before you. They have established relationships. You're the new person coming in. So keep that in mind. Find out if they limit that in any way. That's important. While I haven't heard of that being the case, I have heard of some MLS boards definitely favoring those that are paying the most. So keep that in mind. The photographers that are supporting the board the most, going to the most events, and giving back the most, teaching classes and sponsoring lunches, and a lot of times there'll be lunch and learn or breakfast sessions and stuff like that where there's sponsorship opportunities. A lot of times the company that does that the most is getting referred the most business. So asking how many other photography companies, aerial drone companies, and virtual tour companies is definitely got to be top on your list. You want to know who you're up against and how long they've been there. You want to scout out their websites and just take a peek. Don't spend too much time on it. Don't spend too much time worrying about your competition, but it's good to know who they are. Wow, I really can't resist this hill. This looks like a good time here. Hold on. Wow. Yeah. All right. That was awesome. Not sure how stable that's gonna look for you guys on the other end, but that was awesome. All right, next up, lockbox certification. Easy movement in and out of the homes without disrupting the agent. This is really important. As a real estate photographer, more so than a drone pilot, and the virtual tour providers also more so than a drone pilot, you're gonna be disrupting the home sellers, no matter how you look at it. They're gonna have to clean the house, they're gonna have to be ready for you, and a lot of times the listing agent is gonna wanna be there. So that means that you're taking them off the street, you're taking them off the clock to watch you do your work. It's not a bad thing. It's a great opportunity for you to talk about upsells, new products, your new 3D tour from a 2D floor plan service, or your brand new virtual staging offerings, or the fact that you're now a Zillow 3D tour provider, whatever it is. It's time for you at the home while you're doing your work to shoulder up and talk a little bit about you, let them know you're a real person, and that solidifies that relationship. It goes a long way. But it's also important, just as important I would say, for you to have a lockbox certification if it's available. Now this means that they don't have to meet you at the house unless they want to. That means that you're insured and you're vetted and you're trusted by the owners of the lockbox company. So there's a few of them out there, they're really big, and at Blue Lava Media here in Traverse City, we have our lockbox certification, and it's $300 a year for that. We can go in and out of the homes. So that's important. Find out if that's available in your area by asking whomever you're on the phone with. It's gonna typically be another phone call, but I will tell you it's money well spent. Being able to move in and out of homes and navigate around an agent's busy schedule is very important. That way they can choose if they want to be there at the home with you, but if they're busy, they don't have to. Not every photographer is going to have lockbox certification. This could give you a major edge in your market. So make sure you ask the question, how do I get lockbox certification? Is it available? Who should I talk to? What are the costs associated if you know offhand? And most of the time they will. And there's a little test you have to take and you have to pass, and I believe you have to show proof of insurance. But again, it's well worth every penny. And your ability to get in and out of these houses without disrupting the agent's schedule is incredibly important. Just to have in your back pocket. Not saying always use it, because it's just as important to hobnob a little bit while you're at the house. The next thing that you're gonna wanna ask about is logo usage. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Leave it out of the conversation and you could find yourself in a weird situation. Asking the local board of realtors if you can put their logo on your website is huge. Getting that nod or pass, you want to get it in an email. It'll probably come with your welcome packet. But it's something a lot of photographers overlook. Don't miss this one. Put on your website that you are a trusted service provider for your local board of realtors. Make sure everybody knows. Put it in your email campaigns. Ask them if it's okay if you can do that first. Ask them if it's okay to put it on your website. Ask if it's okay to put it in your email campaigns. A lot of folks will only use people that are also supporting their board. So keep that in mind. Logo use on your website, logo use on your emails, both very important. And certainly something that you don't want to forget to ask about. Hey, we're almost to Lake Michigan. What we're going to talk about next is probably one of the most important questions you're going to lay down as a professional real estate photographer, aerial drone pilot, virtual tour provider, especially if you're using a system. If you're using a system like the realtorvision.com system that delivers property websites, virtual tours, anything like that, listen up. There's a little thing called IDX. It's called Internet Data Display, and it came about years and years ago. It's a law that says that if a virtual tour or a production or a listing or any information about a listing is out on the MLS, it can't be branded, so it can't have the agent's information on it. Let me repeat that. This is important. This only applies on the MLS site itself. Any promotional material for a real estate listing, be it a virtual tour, a flyer, single property website, anything, can't so much as have their logo on it, their name, their phone number, zero branding. And most MLSs will fine the agent if they put agent branding on any of that stuff. So that only applies to the MLS. That's on their listing portal. Well, the MLS board syndicates out to the big six: Trulia, Zillow, Movoto, Homes.com, and Realtor.com, and Redfin, and all of the portal sites, right? Harmon Homes. Those sites are gonna pull typically 1 or 2 links from the MLS. Now, there are some exceptions, and the IDX law or rule doesn't apply to every MLS in the country, but it applies to a lot of them. Now, there's some MLS boards that are starting to break away from this, saying, hey, I worked hard for that listing, that's my real estate listing, and it's on the MLS, and I'm gonna have my photo on it. Most MLS boards don't allow that, okay? But it's really important for you right off the bat to say to whomever you're on the phone with, I offer property websites and virtual tours. My property websites and virtual tours have agent branding on them. Is that allowed on the MLS site? Get your answer. Remember that answer. My property websites and virtual tours also have my logo on them. As a real estate photographer, it's my emblem, it's my logo, it's my brand. Is that allowed? Now, it's gonna be a mixed bag depending on where you're at and where you're watching this video from. I'm lucky enough in the Traverse City region to be able to put my logo on all of my productions at Blue Lava Media. Okay, we can't have the agent information on there. So the tours and property websites that we deliver through our TV are private labeled to Blue Lava Media. Those get put directly onto the MLS, the non-branded version, okay? And then those syndicate out to the big six, the national portal sites. But I'm lucky enough, I'm allowed to put my logo on my productions, and you very well may be too. You want to find out by asking the right question, and asking now is going to save you a lot of potential trouble down the road. So ask, get it in writing. Make sure if they say, yeah, you can have your logo on your production, get it in writing and save that email or document, whichever it is. But what you're gonna wanna do is establish a product from day one that can go onto the MLS with the most benefit to you as a real estate photographer. Because remember, you want your brand on everything. You wanna put your brand on as much as possible. Now the RTV system's pretty slick. You see, when realtor.com and Zillow and Trulia and homes.com and Movoto, the big guys, pull data from the MLS, the RTV system will detect if it's a non-branded tour, and as long as it's not being played on an MLS, it'll show the fully branded version. Think about what I just said. You talk to your MLS, you put the non-branded version on the MLS. The big 6 portal sites pull from the MLS the non-branded version, but when an end user plays them, they get the branded version. Voila. More WOM for you. That's word of mouth marketing and more WOM for your clients. Make sure you're using that as a selling feature if you're on our platform. Okay, so that's enough said. You gotta really be careful about IDX laws, and branding. Those are very important questions for you to ask while you're on the phone with the MLS. And again, get it in writing. Find out what they allow, find out what they don't allow. One link is always better than having 2. So if they allow 2 links and you're doing a 3D tour and you're doing a video walkthrough and they maybe allow, let's say they allow a virtual tour and a video link. Well, usually there's only gonna be one that gets pulled, and that's the primary position. So there's link 1 and link 2. Your Zillow, Trulia, Movoto, those companies are realtor.com, they're gonna just pull the primary link. So make sure that's important. It's important that you train your customers after you start delivering which link to use. Now, with a system like RTV, you're actually able to embed a video into the property website. You can embed a Zillow tour into the property website. So all that's possible. So, all right, enough on branded and non-branded. Let's go on to the next question. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna make it to Lake Michigan today. That's at least another mile away. And I'm running out of time and gas. I didn't bring any water with me, and this is not a survival series. I just found a pair of shoes, but nobody is around. Spooky. Okay, so this next part is super important. And for those of you listening, if you've made it this far, this next part can set you apart in a really big way. I'm talking about something that I hinted at in that last segment, and that's training your customers. Well, at Blue Lava Media, we do about 1,300 photo shoots a year. We push everything through the RTV system. That means that every production we create gets a property website, weekly sellers report, all kinds of stuff. Boost marketing services, social media videos, all that's great, right? Yeah, but not if they don't know how to use it. So you training your customer is gonna be super important, because if they don't take the necessary steps after they get your deliverable and they post the production on the MLS, if they don't take your production and put it on the MLS, if they don't put it on social media, you're losing WOM. And I'm talking about all your word of mouth marketing. So you want them to put it on the MLS. You want it to get on the MLS very badly because it's gonna get distributed out. But what if there was another way? What if the MLS would deliver the productions for you to the MLS? So I want you to think about that. Think about if you make an alliance with your MLS. Now, I'll tell you right now, this is not gonna happen for about 70% of you. But 30% of you watching this video are gonna be in small enough markets that you're gonna be able to ask the MLS board, hey, you know, the non-branded virtual tour link, how does that typically get on the MLS? They're gonna tell you, well, that's the responsibility of the agent because you're not allowed to do it. And some of them track IPs and it's real nasty business if you get caught putting virtual tours on the MLS on behalf of your customers. And MLS boards are getting smarter. They're looking at logins and they're questioning and making sure that it's a licensed realtor on the other end of that IP address that's posting. Just saying. So again, getting back to a possible shortcut for 30% of you watching this. There is a play here that you can talk to your MLS board and get them to post for you. Again, I gotta say we're real lucky at Blue Lava Media because our MLS board posts for us. They post every single production that we do. Now, you might suggest it and it might seem like something completely new and novel to them. And if they say, no, that's not something we'd be willing to do, that's not anything that we've ever considered, now it's time to talk turkey. Well, I do 700 photo shoots a year. How about $1 a production? You put it on there for me. Think about that. Is that worth $1 to not have to worry about the agents getting them on there, but having someone inside at the board level that's putting it on there for you? You can make that happen. We've made that happen at Blue Lava Media. So if we've made that happen, you can make that happen too. It may not cost you anything, but maybe a couple of gift baskets a couple times a year, or it might cost you $1 a production. Think about that, $1 to not have to worry. Now, all the agent has to do is put it on social media. All the agent has to do is learn how to use your delivery site and download the photos. All the agent has to do is poke it to the top of their Facebook page once a week so that traffic report looks nice and juicy. The more you can take off the agent's hands, the less you're gonna have to train them. And training your customers is probably one of the most important things that you're gonna be faced with in this line of work. Once you train your customer, you've got boots on the ground inside that office. What do I mean by that? I mean, when Jack calls and says, what do I do with all this stuff? You can say, well, tell you what, Jack, here's a video that I made that teaches you all that. But by the way, Lucy knows how to do everything. You might want to check with her on getting it put into the MLS, posting it to your Facebook and Twitter accounts or social media platforms, so on and so forth. So the more boots you have on the ground that are trained inside the office, make sure as you do other productions and photo work for other people within that office, you're empowering the other people that you've worked with before to become your trainers. And that can lead to all kinds of stuff like, you know, gift certificates. And if somebody helps out and becomes a master trainer inside an office, be it an admin person or another agent, make sure you go the extra mile and pick up some gas cards or gift certificates to whatever. Take care of them is what I'm saying, because that is worth its weight in gold. Training your customers is going to be the hardest thing you are faced with, because again, in this line of work, when you deliver your photos, if nobody knows who took those photos, you're sunk. You're sunk. If they post the property website and your logo is on that property website, everybody knows who did it, and your WOM goes boom. Your word of mouth marketing lights up, and that's what we want. We want Bob to look at Jane's production and say, I love those twilights. I love that virtual tour. I love that drone, and call you. That's what we want to have happen. We want your WOM, as I like to say, to go boom. So those are some big things to take care of early on, and it starts with that phone call to the MLS and make sure you find out exactly how virtual tours can get on the MLS and if they will do it for you. They'll either do it for free and it's part of your annual dues. If it's not, don't miss the pay to play option and opportunity, because it could exist. And like I said, for most of you, that part won't apply, and you're just gonna have to teach your customers to put the tour out there. And the carrot, okay? The carrot for the customer is real simple. They get that hit report. If you're using a system, right? If you're using a system, the carrot, the reward, if you will, they get that weekly seller's report, and it's nice and filled up with all kinds of traffic from their social platforms, the MLS, Zillow, realtor.com, homes.com, Harmon Homes, Movoto, Trulia, Redfin, you name it. So that's super important. When that seller's report is filled up, that agent is going to have more incentive to send the seller's report to the home seller. You know, you've probably heard me talk about this in other videos. That makes them look like they're doing their job. That's a weekly communication tool that is priceless, okay? And most systems generate something like that, okay? And so there's your incentive for the real estate agent to send the traffic report and to post all their tours to their social platforms and to the MLS. The incentive is the traffic report looks good, and it's a great communication tool between them and the home seller. All right, I think I'm down to one final question. Water. Oh my gosh, I still have that far to go. That's Glen Lake behind me. I've got a ways to go here. Wow. If this isn't cool, I don't know what is. You've made it this far. Congratulations. I really hope that those of you that have watched this find a lot of success. And I know that if you take some of the tips and tricks that I've thrown out there today, I do believe that you will. And this last thing that I have for you guys is it's pretty simple, and it comes, I've seen a lot of people pull it out of the playbook. It works really well, and it applies if you are a virtual tour provider or drone pilot. Maybe if you're even just your professional photography, it could work. But the simple question is, at the end of that conversation, when you're wrapping things up with the whoever you're speaking with at the board, is hey, you know, it's been really nice speaking with you today. I'm excited to work with you guys, and I'm going to take this information. I'm sure you're going to be hearing back from me. Really excited about the opportunity. I guess one final question I have for you is, do you already have an aerial drone production or a virtual tour of the board? Most of the time it'll be a no, because it's just something that they don't do. So, but I have seen it played before, so you might be in the 15% or 20% where they do. And then wait for the answer. If they have it, hey, you know, if you ever need it updated, I would love to do that. And you know, just give me a call, and it might be something you can follow up on. You might ask, how old is it? You know, does it need to be updated? And a lot of times they would, if you express that, hey, I'd love to offer my virtual tour services or drone services to you free of charge, I'd love to do it. The only thing I ask is that you let me put my logo on it, you know? And that's a great way for you to have a production right on the board website, showing off their facility, surroundings, and with your logo on it. And a lot of people miss that opportunity, and it's a good one. So make sure you throw that out there at the end. Even offering to just professionally photograph the board and maybe staff members. That's something we didn't talk about today either, is headshots. You know, that could be a really big play for you if you're a portrait photographer. That butterfly's still following me back there. So that could be a really big play for you to offer staff shots for the board. And again, kind of goes back to every little thing that you can do to just help and be part of their sphere is all great. Helping out at events and doing any of that stuff. And when you do, you know, ask if you can bring some business cards or flyers, and just sell your brand a little bit. So, hey, you guys, oh my gosh, I see Glen Lake. I see Glen Lake. There it is. I'm close. I'm close now. I'm close. I did it. I did it. I forgot water. I should have brought water today. It's a lot of talking. I didn't realize it's sand and talking. It wasn't going to be a good mix. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found some good nuggets that you can chew on in here. I'm sure you will. If you apply any of these things, you can't go wrong with anything that I've said in here today. A lot of great stuff, and I wish you the best success out there. Thank you, and remember, if you love what you do, it's not a job. Have a good one.